The GotWay Monster is hailed for its smooth ride quality. The large, 22-inch tire soaks up the bumps and cracks that can rattle your bones on a smaller wheel. But with suspension wheels finally hitting the market, like the Kingsong S18, that begs the question: is a big wheel really almost like suspension? Let's find out by comparing my Monster to my S18. But instead of just telling you how the ride feels, I'll be using a data logger I made with a built-in G-force sensor. Let's get into it. On relatively smooth roads with occasional little bumps and cracks, I found the ride on both wheels to be fairly comparable, so let's take a look at something a bit more intense, like these roots under the pavement. A little bumpy, but not too bad. How's the data look? You can see the peaks from each little bump. Check out that air I got there. I hit the roots at around 20 miles per hour, and the biggest peak in the graph here shows a maximum of 7.7 Gs. Now I'll try it on the S18. Whoa, I really hope everybody gets a chance to feel this. Again, I ran over the roots at around 20 miles per hour, and I got a peak of just 4.7 Gs, which is 40% less. The S18 really soaked those roots up, and it worked well to keep the rubber on the road too. How about a little curb? It's a pretty sharp impulse, but you get used to absorbing it with your knees. Even so, I got a peak of 9.2 Gs. I could probably get it closer to 8 Gs with some more practice. Now I'll try it on the S18. Nice. The sharp impulse noticeably dulled, topping out at 6.6 G, which was about a 30% reduction. Hopping curbs on the S18 is really fun. I've saved the nastiest for last, this nearly invisible dip in the road. This thing has almost taken me out on my Monster before. Did you see it? This thing is just awful. That was at about 18 miles per hour, and honestly I wouldn't want to hit it going much faster than that. That big peak on the graph there tops out at just over 11.5 Gs. That's probably the last time I'll hit that on purpose. Well, one more time with the S18. For science. I'm glad you can see in the footage how hidden this dip is. It's a terrible trap. Oh wow, that was just night and day. It's super cool seeing the suspension in action here. And look at that reduction, just 5.2 Gs at the peak. That's 55% less, more than half. Amazing. Coming back around to the question I posed at the beginning of this video. Is a big wheel really almost like suspension? Well, if you're cruising around on decent roads, then maybe. But anything more than that, and you can't even compare. It's wild. I knew suspension was going to be a pretty big deal, but you really do have to try it for yourself. It can dull the sharpness of bigger bumps and impacts very well. I feel like a lot of folks have focused primarily on the comfort aspect of suspension, and don't get me wrong, there really is something special about the ride on a suspension wheel, and I love riding around on the S18. But I think the improvement to rider safety is what's really exciting. I've been pothole sniped here and there, and though I've been very lucky not to have wiped out those times, suspension could very well be the difference between eating pavement or riding on. Or even keeping your poor rim intact. Well, that's about it for this video. I don't usually make content like this, but I had fun putting it together, and I hope you enjoyed it too. It took a couple months with some of my free time outside of my full-time job, so I don't anticipate making this a regular thing. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you next time. And don't forget your helmet.